Okay guys, in this video I am going to react to some suggestions by Rike. He's the old-time video blogger on YouTube. I think more than 10 years he's been doing this. But he makes some good points about deal breakers, and of course smoking and drinking is two important deal breakers that you should always be aware of. But he's talking about some other subtle potential deal breakers that I want to react to. Let's dive in and see what he's got to say.
Now, the first one, I'm putting the two together, alcoholism and smoking. If you yourself are a person that drinks a lot and you're a person that smokes, this one really almost doesn't apply to you. Now, there's a difference, of course, between drinking alcohol and being an alcoholic. If a person is an alcoholic, chances are the person they want around them is also somebody that drinks, unless they're just looking for an enabler to solve all their problems. As far as smoking, most non smokers, most, really don't like being with a smoker anyway. So if you are a moderate drinker and you're not a smoker, you really need to think, do you want to invest in a relationship long term with somebody who needs alcohol, with somebody who is going to smoke the rest of their life? I only dated in my entire lifetime one that smoked, and it convinced me. And I never wanted to be with a smoker to begin with, but things kind of happened. I gave it a try, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I can put up with this. But
Yeah, maybe he can put up with it. I was the child of a father that was a chain smoker, and it really put me off anything to do with smoking, because the stench and the smell from just everything in the house, everything in the car, just made me almost want to throw up. So I never really accepted a girl that's smoking. And secondly, smoking is unhealthy. My father died from cancer caused by smoking. So I mean, there's no debate. Smoking is very unhealthy. And if you're planning a long-term partner who's got an addiction to nicotine, you are looking for trouble. You're taking on a lifelong challenge, particularly as they get older. They might come down with all kinds of diseases. I don't know how many are listed for smoking, but you want to be or try to find a partner that has the biggest or the largest health potential that you can find, including yourself. But of course, if your long-term partner is failing due to health, it's not going to make your life very happy. So just choose a partner that doesn't have a smoking or a drinking problem. And smoking is not very common in the Philippines anymore. I think I don't know what the percentages are, but a pretty young Filipina is very unlikely going to be a chain smoker or a smoker at all. So chances are good you can find a healthy, attractive Filipina that doesn't have a smoking problem. But of course, drinking is another no-no, and you got to be aware of that because, well, let's jump back to the video here and hear what Enrique has to say about it.
I found it to be a deal breaker. If you're not a smoker, being with a smoker usually is a bad thing. It's something you really should look at, because it's one thing to hang out with somebody who's not going to smoke for 4 hours while you're on a date or hanging out. But if you're going to actually live 24/7 with somebody who's going to be smoking every day, you have to think, are you really willing to put up with that as a non smoker? The same thing with an alcoholic. I remember there was this wonderful, Filipina that I met, and very sweet, very kind, and all these things. But it took me about 3 weeks, almost a month, to realize she was an alcoholic. She wasn't just a Filipina who had maybe a red horse with her friends twice a month just for something to do. or maybe went to a party, once a month to drink up a bit and have some fun. We're talking about somebody who every day after work was going to sit down at the red tables, the plastic tables, and drink alcohol and could not do without it. We're talking about somebody who was missing work because they were hungover. These are like classic signs of alcoholism. Unless you want to be in an unhealthy, enabling relationship where you're the sober one solving all the problems while this person is falling apart, again, I don't see that as any kind of a relationship I want. And so I just reluctantly had to end that because I wasn't going to try to pull her up off the floor of her life as she continually ran to alcohol every time she had a stressful situation. So I
Yeah, it's just easier to find a girl out of the many to choose from that's not an alcoholic, or not an alcoholic, but it doesn't have a drinking problem or even leaning in that direction, and also find a girl that's a non-smoker. It's so easy. I mean, there's plenty to choose from. So that those two problems are easy to avoid. I mean, come on, it's common sense.
I would label those two as the first two, alcoholism and tobacco. Is that your deal breaker? Again, for some people, it's not. But for most people who are not alcoholics or committed smokers, they generally don't really want to be with somebody who is an alcoholic or a smoker. And what happens is a lot of you guys, you don't abuse alcohol, and maybe you're not a smoker, but if you end up in a bar, well, if you're looking for a girlfriend that there's a high chance she drinks and smokes, you're probably going to find her in a bar. Is it a deal breaker for you or not? For me, it was. The next deal breaker really was a heartbreaker in my case, not to be specific, but it was several years ago. And it has to do with the whole issue of lying, secrets, and invasion of privacy. This is such a deal breaker. And I've seen a couple of my friends go through this.
Yeah, I'm glad Rike is bringing that up. It's so important, and most expats that come to the Philippines, they are so smitten or taken over by the beauty and the sweetness of a young 20-something-year-old girl that perhaps they have no chance of dating in the Western world or the United States. So they just kind of put everything else on the sidelines. But this point about integrity that Rika is bringing up right now is so important, and it's actually very hard sometimes to know if you've got a girl with integrity or not. But let's get back to the video and hear what he has to say.
I put the three together: the lying, the secrets, and the invasion of privacy. The first two have to do with everything that they are hiding from you. The lying. Every time you get around to asking them a truthful question about their behavior, they will hide it by lying. That's how the secrecy comes about. You never really know who you're dealing with. You never really know what they're doing. You never really know where they are certain times of the week or certain times of the day. You don't really know who they're talking to because they have a habit, and it's an ingrained lifelong habit of lying.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to spot, but it's hard to take action on it. Once you fall in love with a girl, you kind of give her second chances, you give her excuses, and you say to yourself, oh, maybe she's just busy, maybe she just forgot, blah de blah. But the warning signs are there from day one. The girl just, even on the simplest question, she'll lie about it. She has no reason to lie about it, but she still lies. And that's if that's a pattern in her life, that's a person you want to ignore. For example, you might ask her a simple question: did you go to the grocery store today? Did you see any vegetables in the grocery store? And the girl says, "Oh yeah, there was lots of people and lots of produce there." And then you go there yourself, you find out there was no produce there. There was hardly any people there, and that's a small thing. But why was the person lying about it? That's what you have to ask. It's not a big deal to be misinformed about something small, but it is a big deal if the girl is chronically always twisting the facts or twisting the information. I mean, it's just as easy as wanting to go on a vacation trip, and you ask the girl, what time is the plane leaving, and she just dreams up some number and tells it to you, and you get all screwed up because you lost your flight. You know that's the extreme case of it, but there is no reason to lie about things constantly. I mean, if the Gestapo or the Nazi was following the girl home and questioning her where her family is living because she was wanted for some murder or some sort of extreme, war situation. Of course, it would be natural to lie. It would be a legitimate reason to lie. But if somebody asking if you went to the grocery store, there's no reason to lie about it. Just tell the truth. And in fact, I'd venture to say, always tell the truth, even in situation where it might be a little uncomfortable for you, because honesty is the best policy, as they say. But let's get back to Rike's video.
They will even lie when they don't have to. But most importantly, they lie when you most need the correct information. Where were you for the last 4 hours? I couldn't reach you. Just tell me where you were. And you can tell they're coming up with some bogus, silly story that as you ask them, okay, well, if that's true, then why this? And then, of course, they will deflect and get angry at you and try to change the subject and all that because they are determined to lie to you. The other more blatant, open lying is when you openly bust them on something and they say, okay, I'll never do that again. Never do that again. Okay, yeah, you caught me, whatever. But they're lying to you because then you catch them doing it again. And they knew, or they just found a new way around it to hide it from you. Again, back to the secrets. If you're going to trust your life, your time, your money with a lifelong companion, lying and secrets, that's non-negotiable. You need somebody that's going to give you an honest answer to an honest question. And then with the invasion of privacy, again, I have had several close friends. Fortunately, I haven't had to deal with this myself, but I've seen the pain of having several close friends to where there was all this distrust from the person that they're involved with.
Yeah, of course, it breeds distrust if those small lies that perhaps are insignificant at the time kind of builds up, and it's just not a good person to have in your life. Honesty is the best policy, always.
Who not only lies and keeps secrets, but has almost a pathological need to know every little thing about the one that's not or lying and
Yeah, and sometimes I ask myself, what's the benefit for the liar? I mean, don't they realize that integrity is the best policy, and being honest and open with your partner is the best policy? Sometimes I wonder if somebody can comment on that from and help me out. I'd really like to know, what's the benefit for the liar to lie about something insignificant that is very small and just causes headache for everybody. Yeah, it's. I don't know if it's because they were brought up that way to lie to survive, and it's just in their blood. I don't know what it is.
keeping secrets. And so what they do is they're constantly playing detective. They're snooping through their phone. They're constantly trying to look for the code to get into their phone or get into their.
Yeah, there's even a YouTuber that I've sometimes listened to in the United States. He's a dating coach, and he suggests when you start dating somebody new, just ask the question straight out. Give me your phone. Let me unlock it and let me see your messaging apps, and I'll give you my phone as well. And he says basically, if the person is not willing to do that, it's the end of the conversation, end of the relationship, and just move on. He uses that as a sort of a deal breaker. If the girl doesn't want to unlock and hand over her phone, she's got some secret and she's not willing to to step up to the plate and not willing to be open and honest and have a real relationships.
One of the things that I would recommend that you consider at this point when she's all, I'm done with him, cool, pass me your phone. Just like a random spot chat. Some people don't like to do this, but if you're going to invite a woman into your inner world and you're going to be exclusive with her and introduce her to your family or whatever else it is that you happen to, or travel to Miami with this chick, uh, you need to trust but verify. This is something that Ronald Reagan said back in the day, and it's very, very true. Okay, fine, cool. Hand over your phone, unlock your phone, let me have a look at it. If she hesitates, if she's like, well, why? Let me see your phone, or no, 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 I don't want to do that, or why don't you trust me? You're about to encounter some bullshit. If she unlocks the phone and just says right in front of you, like doesn't walk away, doesn't, give me a minute or anything like that, just as soon as you say, okay, unlock your phone and pass it over, it's got to be a surprise, right? Like she can't be prepared for it, and she hands it over to you. There's probably going to be nothing there, right? Anyway, so he skipped that little test. I would recommend that you guys do that.
I think that's pushing it a little too far. It's a little extreme. I think people have a right for some privacy. I mean, they could be talking with their sister or their parents about something personal and private. So I don't think a boyfriend should have the right to demand the girl to be open and honest about it. I mean, it's, some things are dirty laundry, and you just wish to wash the laundry before you show your clothes. I mean, same with communication. There might be some internal family feud that's going on, and they don't want to alarm or talk about this in with a boyfriend or a significant other. They're embarrassed, they're shy, and I think that's understandable. I'm not going to demand my girlfriend to unlock her phone and hand the phone over to me so I can see all her messages. That's extreme. But Filipino boyfriends are sometimes very jealous, and they will frequently ask for the logins and passwords for the social media of their girlfriend, just to check to make sure they are not hiding a secret affair or something. And my girlfriend and the ex-boyfriend had an ongoing situation where even to this day, this guy, the ex-boyfriend, is still logging into some of her emails and social media accounts, and even messaging me and using four-letter words. So it's pretty common in the Filipino culture for boyfriends to get access or to request access to social media and communication accounts, just to sort of check up on the girl. But don't fall into that trap that you got to follow what the culture or what boys in the Philippines are doing to the girlfriends. You don't have to do that. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard, and I think the higher standard is to respect and trust before you assume anything that's being done mischievously and trying to hurt you in some way. I think we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard and be an example of what a good Western guy is doing to his girlfriend.
Their laptop and get into their Facebook and going through their wallet when they're asleep and just smelling their clothes. And the thing is, it's like the guilty mind suspects that everyone else is guilty. The problem is not.
Yeah, that's true. Rike hits the nail on the head here. The guilty mind suspects everybody else to be doing the same. So that's sort of how you can also weed out the cheaters from the regular people. If your girlfriend is always assuming that you've been doing something naughty, you should be looking at her. You should be asking yourself, what is she doing? It's just like a telltale sign.
That they have a sufficient cause to go playing detective. It's that they themselves are so secretive and so dishonest. In their mind, they assume, oh, well, the other person is probably holding secrets too. I'm going to find out what those secrets are. And they go on this quest, which when they get caught, and they're told, hey, don't go snooping through my phone. You want to look at my phone, just ask me and I'll show you. You know, you want to see the PMs on my Facebook? Fine, let's sit down together. We'll look through the PMs, but don't go sneaking around when I'm asleep, you know, trying to get into my stuff. That level of distrust is, to me, a cancerous deal breaker.
Yeah, it's very cancerous. If you see any of this guys going on with your girlfriend that you just started dating, I hate to tell you this, but start looking for a different long-term partner. It's not somebody you want to have in your life for the rest of your life or for a long-term partner. After the romance and the honeymoon period disappears, all you're left with is the character of the person. You know, even the physical beauty and the attributes is going to fade after a few years. And unless you have a person with good character and integrity, you're asking for trouble. So just nip it in the butt, so to speak, early in the relationship if you see any of this kind of low integrity.
To a long-term relationship, you should be with a person that respects your privacy, who is going to give you an honest answer to an honest question when you ask them. You should be able to live with somebody in peace, not having this Cold War going on behind the scenes. The third deal breaker.
Yeah, this point about living in peace is so underrated, perhaps, but I think it's should be on the forefront of guys' minds. You know, overthinking that. I'm guilty of that, but I don't want to be sitting at home or walking around in the grocery store wondering what did my girlfriend mean when she says blah blah yesterday or this morning. You know, I want to have a peaceful life. I tend to lean in the direction of high blood pressure from almost anything. So I don't want that kind of stress in my life, which raises the blood pressure and anxiety and worry. So you want to make sure you find a girl that doesn't give you honest, truthful information when you ask for things. You know, it's just so simple, and there are lots of people out there that can give straight answers to straight questions.
Is a big one, and that is cheating, sexual infidelity. You'd be surprised. You would think that, oh yeah, if somebody cheated on me, you know, they're gone, they're done. Too many guys and women, their partner cheats on them, and they decide, well, they love them so much they're going to give them another chance, and then they do it again. And even if it only happens the one time, you know, there's the whole issue of, can you really ever trust that person? That's one issue. The second issue is, well, can you ever forget about it? Once a person, you trust them and they break that trust by cheating on you, it's like the whole adage about the cracked mirror. You know, you can glue it all back together, but you're still going to see the cracks. Doesn't.
Yeah, I remember one time I was dating a girlfriend in Bangkok, Thailand, and she cheated when I was in the U.S. Doing work or visiting my family. And even though she apologized, regretted, she even tried to slice her wrist with the lid of a metal can and actually tried to kill herself, but luckily she wasn't clever enough to actually damage the skin in a big way, and I caught it quickly, and I was able to just put a small band-aid on it and wash her hands from the blood, and no harm done. But even if the person regrets and apologizes for the infidelity, you are always left with that thought, is she going to do it again? Can I trust this person in the future? You know, it's just a bad what's the word? A bad foundation for a relationship. At least me, I could with that person, I could never really trust that person again. And could I forgive the person? Yeah, maybe. But would you be able to trust that person again? That's questionable. And would I be able to forgive myself for being too nice or being too sweet and forgiving the person? You know, there's a lot of questions surrounding infidelity and cheating. It's just a bad can of worms. Just stay away from people that are cheating. That should be the end of the relationship.
No matter who cheats, it's the relationship is not going to be the same. It's just not. If I'm with someone and I'm being faithful to them and they cheat on me, we're done. We're done. Yeah, maybe we love each other, maybe we enjoy being together, maybe we had a lot of plans for the future, but you know what? If you want to be with someone else enough that you're going to sneak around, go to their place, they're going to take off all their clothes and get intimate with some other person, you want somebody that bad, keep them. Bye. We're gone. Done. Another deal breaker that
Yeah, he's totally correct, and it's hardcore, but it just avoids so many problems for yourself and the girl. To just be tough and say we're done. It's hard, but it's simple. You might love the girl, and she's beautiful, and you want to keep her, and you want to work things out, but don't do it.
again, too many people I think put up with is stealing. And stealing in combination with lying equals scamming. So I put those two together. When a person is stealing, now there's the out.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've never had anybody steal anything from me. I think that would be very revolting. Even in a business relationship, I've never had that happen. But maybe I've been lucky, and maybe I've been able to choose people that I live with or work with that don't have stealing as a problem.
Outright stealing. They wait till you go to sleep and then they start pulling every week or whatever.
But I have heard or have read about expats coming to the Philippines, and they're perhaps going out drinking with people, and they bring a girl or maybe two girls back home to their apartment or their hotel, and they drink something that was had some chemicals put in there, and they go to sleep, wake up the next day, and everything is stolen from their apartment. Money, laptops, phones, etc. And they, from what I hear, couldn't even get money out of the ATM machine, and they were very distressed. And this happened in the Philippines. I also heard about it happening in Colombia or some South American country. So, yeah, stealing is definitely a big no. And then be aware of somebody spiking your drink or putting something in your drink. Whenever you go to out for a night with some pretty girls or people you don't know, never drink from a beer bottle or even a glass of water um, that's uncovered. You always open the beer bottle yourself. Always open the water bottle yourself, so you know that it hasn't been spiked and it's safe to drink.
The money that they're hoping you don't miss. They're literally stealing it out of your wallet, or maybe you have a lock tote bag or a lock box or something, and they figured out the combo. They looked over your shoulder, whatever, and they're stealing. They're stealing from you. Instead of being in a relationship where you both openly talk about the things that each of you needs, this person is stealing. They're bypassing that whole honest communication. If you're in a good relationship, you should be able to talk to each other and, hey, I need to get some new shoes, or I'd really like to buy this or buy that or whatever.
Yeah, Enrique is a very rational, logical man. He's somebody that I admire. Sometimes he could be a little bit tough, but what he says is profound and valid.
Let's talk about it. Let's see what the budget's doing. And it's like, okay, yeah, okay, fine. Here's the money. Go do your thing, whatever. Take your sister on a birthday party, whatever. It should be open communication, not a money taken in secret. When you're not looking. When it's combined with lying, well, then it's just flat out scamming. Because now the method is not so much stealing it.
Yeah, and everybody has their character flaws, but stealing is that's beyond repair. That's the end of the relationship. You don't want such a person in your lifestyle. My girlfriend sometimes needs money, and she will never steal from me. And she won't even say that she needs money for so and so. It'll always be, oh, I need to go to the doctor, but I don't have any money, or I need to go to the market, but I don't have any money for taxi or jeepney ride. She'll never say outright, I need money for paying for school tuition or something like that. It'll always be indirect, and she will just sort of complain gently and in a nice way that she wishes she had more money to buy something or do something. So it's up to me whether to offer help or not, and I think that's reasonable. But she's never ever stolen from me, and I've been lucky, like I said, with the people I've been associating with.
Physically, it's using lies. Oh, my grandmother's sick. Oh, the caribou's sick, or this or that. Again, under false pretense to hand over this money, and then this person is just doing whatever with it.
Yeah, but I remember several online uh, dating situations where I was told there was a sick grandmother and she needed 5,000 pesos for a heart surgery, by all things. Of course, heart surgery costs a lot more than $5,000. I mean, pesos. Even dollars, that would be very unheard of. But at the time, I thought this girl was attractive. She was saying all the right things, but very quickly things started going downhill with the relationship after the request for money for the grandmother, and I thought the pictures that I saw of the grandmother in a hospital bed could have been a neighbor, could have been anybody. I had no idea what the grandmother looked like, so I just moved away from that whole situation, and I'm glad I did, because very soon after the grandmother incident, she was complaining that she needed a bicycle to go to buy food for her grandmother, etc., etc. These people are. I feel sorry for their misfortune in life, because it's probably some of it is real, but I'm not going to bring on a lady in my life that's always having trouble with finances or having trouble with this or that, because you don't know, frankly, what's true and what's not true. It's better to just bring on a girl that's more regular in her request for money, and you will have less headaches.
Maybe they're sending it to their boyfriend. Who knows? Or they're stockpiling it because they plan on leaving you. Whatever it is, they're getting money from you under a false pretense. And why a guy would put up with this? Why a guy would catch his girlfriend stealing money from him?
The answer is, why would a guy put up with mischievous behavior, low integrity? Because he loves the girl, and the girl is beautiful, and he's never been with such a beauty before, and maybe he lived in the U.S. for 10 years without a single date, and now finally he has a beautiful girl every single day of the week. So it goes to his brain, and logic and rational thinking goes out the door. It's like, that's the answer. But I hope some of you guys that have this problem wake up and put your foot down and stop it.
And then she starts crying, or she starts whatever, trying to win him over, and oh, I'll never do it again, blah, blah, blah. It's bad enough the first time, but for him to catch her repeatedly, just finding smarter ways to steal from him, and then he keeps her, that is just not a smart life decision. Someone steals from you, and this applies really beyond just a girlfriend. Anybody. A person says they're your friend, they steal from you. That money, it cost you part of your time in your life to earn that money. When they steal money from you, they're stealing a part of your life, a part of the time you spent to earn that money. The next deal breaker that I'm sure you guys have seen this and just shaken your head, and you're like, why do these people even stay together? And it has to do with violence and nagging. I put the two together because they're both really an attack. When a person is violent and they
Yeah, luckily enough, I'm a big Norwegian guy, more than 6 feet tall, so I don't usually have a girlfriend being violent against me, because I'm just too big and too threatening, I guess, if I was angry. So I don't have that problem. But the nagging, yeah, that could drive even an elephant insane. I'm sure I'm a strong guy, but I don't tolerate nagging like Rike was talking about. That's just chipping away at the iceberg and hoping there will be some change. Nagging is really bad, and I wish nobody gets to experience that. But if that occurs, you need to solve it. You need to fix it. I mean that you cannot let that go on. That's it's not physical abuse, but it's almost as bad as that.
They will physically hit you. When they grab the things that you value in the house and throw them around and break them, that is an attack on the things you value. And when they nag you, they are trying to wear you down. They're trying to destroy some part of your personality that is standing up to them. So, this whole putting up with a violent person, it could be the man, it could be the woman, but us expats, we're probably thinking about, hey, okay, you're with a Filipina. If she's going to resort to violence, slamming doors and busting windows and smashing your computer. I mean, if you don't want somebody busting up your stuff and they won't leave, move out. That's a deal breaker. You got
Yeah, that's a deal breaker. Don't put up with the physical abuse of any kind, whether it's on your person or on your property. Don't ever accept that. I mean, like Rike says, if she doesn't want to move out, you gotta move out. That's really bad.
you got somebody that's going to be violent either on your person or violent against your stuff, a person that's going to nag you until you basically submit to putting up with their nagging, that is an assault and it's a deal breaker. I understand some guys, they encounter a woman and they believe she's just the last Coca-Cola in the desert. They think she's just so beautiful and so sexy, whatever. They're so afraid of losing her and not finding someone else that they tell themselves, "Oh, I'll put up with the nagging. Oh, I'll put up with her violence. I'll
Yeah, don't put up with physical violence, guys. And like Rike says, you don't have to get into the scarcity mindset of there's only this one woman that's ever talked to you, and that you can never find a replacement. You can never find another beautiful girl. That even if it was true, you shouldn't fall for that. I mean, there's no excuse for physical abuse. Period.
put up with her temper tantrums." It's the dumbest option, really. There should be no second time. When she shows that she has the type of personality that she's got a temper and violent, that's when it's time to just say, "We're done. We're done here. Now I see what kind of person you are. You're the kind of person that is going to get violent, and no, I have no room for that in my life." To be fair, there are times when you might get frustrated, she might get frustrated, you might raise your voices, you might have a moment where really you're just in disagreement. You're not trying to hurt each other. You're not
Yeah, that happens at least with me all the time. Actually, I disagree with my girlfriend, and I even say a couple of bad words sometimes. But I do quickly apologize and retract, and everything's fine, thankfully. But no, it's normal for people, even lovers, to exchange some hard words at time. I wish it wasn't so, but like my medical doctor says, love is stressful, and I really have come to see that. But of course, I try to make it as low stress as possible with the relationship with my girlfriend. But I have to admit, we do occasionally don't see things the same way, and at least myself, I exchange some hard words sometimes, but not too often.
not trying to call each other derogatory names. You're not trying to hurt each other's feelings. It's just both of you get caught in the moment, and you're both raising your voices. Well, I want to go to the mall. Well, I want to stay home. You're having basically a loud disagreement. That's one thing. That's life. That's human. That's being a human being. But when a person starts picking things up and throwing them, when a person starts trying to punch you in the face, you're done. That's a deal breaker. I'll put in here with the nagging is the other side of nagging is the tampo. I talked about this before. It's two extremes of the same issue, which is emotional manipulation. It's emotional warfare. Nagging.
Yeah, Rike is very rational. Tempo, the silent treatment, as we could call it, is also a kind of nagging in a way, but it's particularly common in the Filipino culture. But it's very childish, and you shouldn't put up with it if it's on a continuous basis. If it happen occasionally, you gotta let it go. But if it's on an ongoing basis, don't put up with it. Find a solution or end the relationship.
Is the overload of just constantly dripping on somebody with the same thing over and over and over and over again. It could be something you did wrong 6 years ago. It could be anything, but they're
Yeah, I think the Japanese torture device, or maybe it was not Japanese, but it was some torture device that I read about. Device that drips on your forehead or drips on your face very slowly. It will eventually drive a person insane. It's a uh, very effective torture treatment. It's maybe something similar with the tempo. I mean, if somebody treats you like that with silent treatment over the long term, that's yeah, it doesn't feel good, and it shouldn't be allowed. You should definitely resolve that or move on.
basically trying to wear you down mentally, emotionally, until they dominate over you with nagging. Until you finally just say, okay, if it'll make you shut up, fine, I'll do what you want. That's the whole point of nagging. The extreme opposite of that is the tampo. It's essentially when a woman goes silent on you, and we're talking silent treatment, no talking, no acknowledging that you're there, and this can go on for up to 3, 4 days. What they're silently saying is, if you ever tick me off, I'm going to punish you with this silent treatment. It's a mental and emotional blackmail. That's when you really got to ask yourself, is this the kind of woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with? Is this the kind of woman I even want to spend the rest of the month with? You don't need somebody making your life harder. Life's hard enough. So if you're going to be with somebody, they should be making your life better, and you make their life better. That's what being in love is all about. Two people that love each other, take care of each other, help each other, not one of them or both of them pretty much being, like two scorpions in a jar, just making each other miserable.
Yeah, and this goes back to finding a Filipino girlfriend. Uh, there should be a benefit for having a relationship with a girl. It's not like only the girl gets the benefit or only the guy gets the benefit. It should be a mutual arrangement where the sum of the two parts or the two people is greater than the two people living their lives individually. That, at least in my mind, that's the reason for having a relationship. It's not just having babies or children. The reason for having a relationship is the sum of the two parts are greater than the sum of the parts individually. It's very simple, really, but it's hard to kind of remind yourself of this when you're dealing with a girl on a day-to-day basis.
Why bother? Better to be alone, better to be single. There's always somebody else out there. You don't have to.
Yeah, and that's very truthful. It's you can be happy just by being single and being by your own lonesome. You don't have to always be seeking love from an external source. You can be in love with yourself and peaceful and serene and enjoy life just being you. You don't always have to find a girl, pretty or not, to live with or be with. It's yeah. There's a lot of education, a lot of learning and wisdom in having a romantic relationship or having a good romantic relationship.
To put up with these kind of deal breakers. Better to just cut it loose, give yourself the opportunity to meet somebody better.